Skywalker Saga.
Dude, I told you before we started I didn't want to do this song. I said I didn't. I specifically said I didn't want to do this song.
On April 5th of this year, gamers were treated to the release of LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga.
The game takes you to all 9 of the Star Wars movies, following the chapters of the prequels, the original trilogy, and the sequel trilogy. Now, if you're a kid, this is probably a really cool and new concept, having all of your favorite Star Wars characters together in a fun recreation of the movies.
But this isn't about fun. If you're coming here for fun, you might as well just turn the volume down right now. You're not gonna like this video.
This party's over.
Real gamers know that this game isn't for kids. This game is for me.
Because as adults, we grew up playing LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. We even made a video a few months ago on the 2006 classic.
So this isn't a fun, lighthearted game made for the enjoyment of children across the world. This game is made for us, 2 25-year-old men who are brothers. And if the game is not as good as the one we played in 2006, then they failed, and the company is garbage, and everyone should die.
Dude, too much.
Was that too hot?
Way too hot. We were both extremely excited to try this game given the history we've had with the series. So we played it a lot, and we're hoping that the game would be a modern take on the LEGO Star Wars series while still retaining the spirit of the originals.
So did it do that? That's what the video is about. That's why you clicked on the video.
That's what we're about to say.
Just let us finish. So people will come in and answer the title immediately before watching the video.
We're gonna tell you. We're about to tell you.
Sometimes people just answer the title in our video without watching, and sometimes they'll even say the opinion we said, but they didn't watch the video. Gamers just want to be heard. I guess they'll just say stuff sometimes in the comments without watching the video at all.
At this point, most people have seen Star Wars movies, or at least they've seen the references in pop culture.
The old LEGO Star Wars games and the new ones were both tasked with recapping and parodying, some of the most famous movies of all time. And the interesting thing about this game is for the first time, it is all 9 main story trilogy movies in one game.
Wow, that actually sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it's pretty expansive. It's a pretty big game.
No, really, it sounds like they really had to crunch to get that work done.
Yeah, hard work for something so big and expansive and fun.
No, really, I just looked it up. There's a bunch of reports that they had really bad crunch during development. Dude, this sounds pretty awful. You
guys remember mumble mode in the old games? You remember when they mumbled all the time? So the way the old games worked is that nobody talked in the story cutscenes or recaps. Every character just kind of lightly mumbled, and it had a lot of character and heart and was very funny, but it's kind of hard to do that uniquely a second time without any dialogue.
Especially if you want to tell more story and give more in-depth cutscenes, you can't really do that without them actually talking.
And when they announced this game, they showed a lot of the dialogue in the trailers, and there were so many gamers that were like, that's not like what it was when I was a kid. The characters didn't talk when I played LEGO Star Wars.
When I hear that, I think about the people in the early 1900s who were mad when movies added sound and thought it ruined the experience, like it was only bad for movies.
Actors used to talk to us with their bodies. I don't know what this voice shit's about.
Timothy Chalamet would not last a second with Buster Keaton.
Buster Keaton would beat the shit out of Chalamet just for even looking at him.
I don't know why, but...
Charlie Chaplin would do the Oceana roll on Chalamet's corpse. If you prefer mumble mode, sure, go for it. That's totally fine. You can play the game however you want.
We're not saying don't do mumble mode.
Yeah, but at least try the new mode before, because they, kind of made it a core of the game, and it's really well done.
Plus, the voice acting is genuinely great. They even use the Clone Wars series actors to play their characters, and it sounds awesome.
Call this a diplomatic solution?
I call it aggressive negotiations.
Throughout the 9 movies, most of the actors sound spot on, and others are close enough but are more versions of the character rather than impressions of the actors.
And that really works because this game, I would say, is genuinely way funnier than the old ones.
You guys are the best. I never thought I'd make it to retirement, but here I am.
Every cutscene is jam-packed with visual gags, great conversational humor, fun references, and a ton of moments that parody the source material.
Did you hear that?
The best comedy content for kids happens to be funny for all ages. Things like SpongeBob or Shrek continue to be relevant in pop culture because they play to make everyone laugh, not just kids. The Skywalker Saga is no different, and it succeeds at it.
This makes it really refreshing as a Star Wars fan to re-experience the stories that we've seen again and again, because this way, there's something new in every scene for us to enjoy.
Nah, it's nothing. Maybe it's another drill.
Some, my friends, must be swift.
And can I just add, I had to play the game without music for copyright reasons, and it made for some really weird sequences.
And as a fan, it's also crazy that this game lets you explore pretty much all of the Star Wars universe to date.
And this is where LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga and the Skywalker Saga really branch off on different paths.
The 2006 game was a fairly linear experience, walking you through chapter recaps of the first 6 movies. But they were pretty much a collection of linear hallways that you could then go back to in free play and explore side corridors and rooms with any characters you want.
This game is completely different. It still walks you through a linear recap of the 9 movies, but the ability to explore is way more free.
The Skywalker Saga creates its levels as open areas on pretty much every planet from the movies. Aside from the main story when you're in a planet's area, you can find some side puzzles and missions while you're doing it. But when you visit the planet in free play after completing the story, the area is filled with different activities, puzzles, side missions that even take you into space and off-world, and more that can be unlocked with pretty much every character that's ever appeared in the movies.
We both noticed that the Death Star wasn't on the map and you couldn't go there. We weren't really sure why. And it turns out there's a mission you do on one planet where you're looking for the Death Star plans, which take you to another planet where you find someone that stole the plans and you do a boss fight against that person that gets you the plans that you bring back, and then you have the option to buy the Death Star for an insane amount of money. But it's a really cool way to have you earn the Death Star later in the game than just getting it up front.
It's such a cool thing to have an incentive to not only follow a mission, but then to grind money to unlock an area that you can then explore later. And I mean, wow, you just think about how amazing it is that there's so much content jam-packed into just one game.
Eddie, I told you, dude, it's crunch. It's packed with content because people had to allegedly work overtime.
Yeah, man, it's almost like it's magic. Like, I don't even know how they do it. I don't know how they get that done. But really, the universe in this new game is probably the most expansive open-world Star Wars experience in the last decade, for, reasons that we now know. Which also makes it a blast to play with a friend. And speaking of that, we have a bone to pick with TT Games.
In the old games, 2 players shared the same screen and camera, which created the perfect fight machine for siblings and friends.
Tony!
So what? I was going for a stud.
Okay, well, stop moving. You're pulling me off
No,
at the
come
game.
this way. I'm gonna miss this stud.
In this game, there's nothing to fight about?
What?
The screen is split, so you're both free to explore the entire map separately, except mini games and missions separately, and the game even forces both players to give permission before leaving an area or accepting a mission?
Can I at least hog all the Jedi characters by being player 1?
No, dude, it alternates when you do story missions.
What?
No, I don't understand. Why would they do this?
Fun.
How am I supposed to yell at Tony in a healthy way if the game doesn't make us want to fight?
I hold in my screams at Eddie every day, and these games were my only outlet.
One thing really quick, sorry, we actually made some new merch.
They're really amazing designs. My girlfriend, who's a graphic and motion designer, made them, and she did a fantastic job.
It's for our fake video rental company Twin Video that's having a movie night, and you're invited.
Whoa!
Wow.
Yeah.
Really, guys, we don't have a Patreon or anything, so this is the best way to support this channel and especially support Tony.
I'm poor.
You can get it at burbackshop.com or click the link in the description below. So buy the shirts, please.
Please buy them.
our shirts.
Buy our shirts. Buy our shirts. The cooperative gameplay in this game is exactly what we hoped it would be. It's an open world co-op game in Star Wars. As fans, being able to freely explore that together is so much fun, but there is no online co-op in the game.
Which, by the way, we're not blaming the team. The team has already had it hard enough. We just kind of wished that multiplayer had made its way in a healthy workspace.
Absolutely, like nothing to do with the team itself.
However, we really do hope it's added later because it's a huge missing piece for a lot of people to enjoy a great aspect of the game that they can't otherwise. And you can use Steam Remote Play on PC to kind of fake your computer doing couch co-op over the internet, but the connection isn't that great. I really think if they had managed to get multiplayer done, which I hear was actually something really hard for them, this game would be an even bigger hit than it was, and a lot of people would be playing it together right now. And it just sucks to see that that part didn't really make it into the game.
Because when Eddie was back in Chicago, we were able to play multiple days of couch co-op on PC PS5, and it was a blast. And one of the highlights of co-op was fighting the boss battles together. Tagging in during lightsaber duels and watching the other person fight was a really cool experience. Got him.
Oh shit, you going? But after a game like Elden Ring, you would think that these bosses would take at least an hour to beat. For some reason, there's no penalty to dying, and the bosses are really easy. It's like it's made for kids or something.
Frequently, you don't do damage to a boss because the game is waiting for them to do an animation that pads the fight out longer to seem cinematic, which is fine, but it takes some of the intensity out of it.
Your anger. There it is. Up.
Tony, even if it's for kids, a game shouldn't ever have any cinematics or animation at all. It should be pure gameplay, 24/7, nonstop.
I mean, maybe.
And this game should be intense, because like we said, this isn't made for babies. It's made for me, a 25-year-old sitting in a dark room with bloodshot eyes, illuminated by my monitor screen at 4 a.m. Also, the best feature in this game by far, and hear me out, is C-3PO's legs. For people who haven't played the game, C-3PO can pop the top of his body off of his legs, making him two playable characters. Chrissy and I were playing, and she decided to just be the legs. And I'm not talking for a little bit. I'm saying she played as the legs the whole time. So we played missions like R2-D2 and the legs, Obi-Wan Kenobi and the legs. It is so stupid, but I mean, look at it. They just look so funny to me. And speaking of looks, we have to talk about the art style in this game.
This game looks incredible.
It looks really, really good.
The environments are beautiful and they're faithful recreations of places from the movies that everyone knows and loves. And we don't mean Lego versions of them, we mean accurate representations of those locations.
And when it comes to the characters, this game just really looks incredible. I had no idea it was going to look this good. They did an amazing job at making the characters feel like actual Lego pieces. You know, you can see the shine on the plastic, and when someone's wearing a cape, you can see the stitching of it. When you're walking a character around in the sand, they start to get dirty like a Lego piece would. You can see spots where on a real toy it would get worn or scratched, have those markings on it. I feel like when we were kids, Tony and I would watch animated movies a lot that looked really great, and we would start to think like, oh, I can't wait till video games look like this. And I think we're really reaching a point where a game like Lego Star Wars kind of resembles something like Toy Story 2.
Yeah, I always thought you looked like Sid from Toy Story.
What?
Yeah, just kind of like
Are you paying attention?
We're talking about Toy Story? The fact that the characters and environments look so great, paired with fantastic lighting, really sells the world as a whole and immerses you into the universe. I'd say the art style is out of this world.
Tony. And aside from the game just looking really good, I think its art style poses something really interesting for a game that's this big. Because instead of wasting time on hyper-realistic graphics, they have 9 movies to cover and a ton of planets. But the art style of using Lego blocks makes it way easier to kind of plug and play that style and create new things.
Right, like instead of modeling Maul as some hyper-realistic human being with pores and all these details, he's a Lego character like all the other Lego characters. But it's interesting that at a certain point, you stop seeing Maul as a Lego character. You just see Maul.
It's like you're so immersed in the world for a long enough time that you just kind of stop paying attention to the fact that they're Lego.
It reminds me of watching a movie in a different language with subtitles. There's a certain point where you just stop seeing the subtitles and just are watching it.
Exactly. So I don't think that without Lego, this could have been possible right now. I mean, it barely was with, crunch stuff. But because of this art style, they ended up just making an open world Star Wars experience that covers every story and every planet. And I mean, I don't really care about getting this type of game not in Lego form because this is good enough to me.
There are a few things in this game that we don't like. We don't really love the UI and the menus in the Skywalker Saga.
They can be a bit messy and overwhelming, and I just think the complete saga had more of an appealing visual design and character to it when it came to the menus and loading screens.
And speaking of character, the new one is full of heart, but we would have loved a cantina hub like the old games. It's just too iconic to not have a version of it somewhere.
Also, the level select just kind of sucks. When you go back to play the story, it feels like you can only do half of the missions. I played The Last Jedi using level select on the same save after Tony had already completed that movie, and by the time I played 2 of them, I was halfway through the movie. There were more missions, I just completely skipped them because it wouldn't show them to me.
And these next 2 are really nitpicky, so bear with us, but in the old game, when you turn the music off in the settings, the band in the cantina would actually stop playing music, which is a really fun detail. They don't do it in this game.
I don't care how much new stuff they add to the world or the gameplay. If they don't match all the fun little details from 2006, this game is worse by default.
What were you guys thinking?
Oh, you were thinking you wanted to go home and have some time with your family. And my biggest, number one annoyance while playing this was that the button circle on PlayStation or B on Xbox to take out your lightsaber is the same as this kind of quick force you do so. Sorry, R2. Didn't mean that. But you see, what happens is you accidentally start hurting the player that you're with or blowing stuff up around you. And then when you want to put the lightsaber away, there's a chance that you force push again. Fuck. Sorry.
You got him.
Sorry,
again.
R2. Yep, I got him. I really got him.
So the question we're asking in this video is, how does the new game stack up against the Complete Saga? We've mentioned it before. We personally believe the Complete Saga is one of the best, lighthearted, and fun games ever made. So the Skywalker Saga had huge shoes to fill, not only with the quality of the game, but with the nostalgia people felt for it.
I mean, to be real, the old LEGO Star Wars games are really important to the people that played them. They remind them of some of their best childhood memories with friends and family. And the Skywalker Saga, for the most part, did the impossible here. It innovates on an old formula without losing the heart that made the originals so special. And we're personally so happy at the idea that a new generation can enjoy this type of game and make their own memories with it together.
And while playing this game, we'd frequently think, how is there this much content? And then we're quickly reminded that it's because of the crunch we talked about.
We love this game, but we can't praise it in good conscience without acknowledging that TT Games needs to do better when it comes to their work culture.
And to quote Yoda, Luke, we are what they grow beyond.
Okay, I'm talking about crunch here. Why did you add that?
Because Yoda said it.
Tony, we're in the middle of ending the video. Why would you say a random ass Yoda quote? That's not even in the script that we wrote.
It's a Star Wars video and Yoda said it, so it's a Yoda Star Wars
Yeah,
quote.
but why would you say? I'm in the middle of talking about serious crunch at the very end of the video.
Luke, we are what they grow beyond.
Don't say it again, dude.